Guys, deluded, I'm back again. YouTube's Lucas Torreira. Chelsea 3, Arsenal 2. And although I definitely knew it, you've seen in my previews that we were going to get slapped today. Yeah, we still got slapped today. At the end of the day, 2 games, 0 points. It's peak for us at the moment in time. But let's carry on and review the game. Going into the game, I don't need to spell it out for you. It's a London derby. Nothing needs to be expanded more. It doesn't matter if Arsenal and Chelsea are going for the league title or if they're trying to get back in the top 4 after finishing 5th and 6th respectively. It's a big game. Obviously, they've got 3 points, we've got none. So from an Arsenal fan, this is a perfect game to show something in it. Aubameyang was out there talking about character and all these things are going to get shown against Chelsea. Arguably put in one of the worst performances today, but not to dig him out. Yeah, man. First things first, the lineup. That scared a lot of people. I mean, no disrespect to Iwobi. I was cool with Iwobi because he was one of the better players when we went to Stamford Bridge last week. But Iwobi would have shocked a bit of people. Monreal came back into the side. Mkhitaryan started again after a woeful performance. I don't think there's any other changes of that. It looked like a 4-2-3-1 at some point, so I'm going to assume it was that. But yeah, first 20 minutes, go to Chelsea, to be honest. But let's get under it in a bit more. Like I said, first 20 minutes, definitely Chelsea's. For me, respected them way too much respecting. Literally the first minute, the first 30 seconds to a minute, we pressed. I think Aubameyang had a tame shot, and that was it. We then sat off Chelsea. We let, David Luiz, you might question his ability defensively, but he's comfy with a football at his feet. You're letting him step out. You're letting Dave step out. You're letting Rudiger step out. All these men are comfortable with the ball. Jorginho had a decent game. Obviously, he plays for Chelsea. I can't be gassing him too much, but all of them, man, they're just coming onto the ball. The wingers are stressing us. You're seeing 2v1s. What's scaring me is that Morata and a couple of the players, they're getting 1v1 versus fullbacks or centre halves, and they're running beyond. They're getting on the wrong side of a centre half, and they're just on side. They're scaring me, to be honest with you. First minute, within the 10 minutes, we deserved to go down. What was it, the 8th minute or so? It was a lovely bit of play from Alonso down that side. Bellerin lost his. Well, in fact, I don't even think Bellerin and Mkhitaryan done that badly, to be honest, because obviously, if you're a winger and a fullback, when one engages, the other goes back with the man. Obviously, Bellerin's caught. He's trying to get he's trying to regain possession and things like that. Mkhitaryan goes with the runner, Alonso, but Alonso burns him. And this is why obviously, I'm not trying to be a genius in hindsight. Unai Emery forgets more about football than I'll ever know about football. But this is why I wanted 5 at the back, because of that very same incident. If that's If that's Liechtenstein and Bellerin, maybe one's dropped off a couple yards because they're naturally defensive minded versus Mkhitaryan. Obviously, Alonso, he burns him, he squares it, and I believe Pedro puts it in. And Pedro. At this point, Pedro and Willian are stressing us. They're swapping flanks. They're getting 1v1 with players. I actually think Bellerin's doing all right in the whole game, to be fair with you. But what did we say? We said Alonso, what did I tell you in my preview? Alonso is going to cover and be very narrow defensively, which we were able to take advantage of when we scored. Going forward, he's someone you need to watch, especially when you're playing this high line. Again, I don't even want to get into the high line because I couldn't understand it. We sat in our shape fairly well, but again, the shape, the line was too high. Just on a criticism of defending, we're not tackling with conviction. It's just bare snapping at heels, and we deserve to go a second goal down, or whether they scored in the 20th minute. Again, I told you, Dave's ball over the top. It wasn't over the top this time. It was a direct pass. We're caught with a high line. Morata does very well in my opinion. Mustafi probably could have done a bit better, but Morata looked up for the game and he did it, and he did his thing, to be honest with you. At the same time, we're having chance after chance. It's 2-0 now. At the end of the day, looking like the game's out of our reach, innit? Throughout the whole 90 minutes, we were only good for 20, and there's 70 other minutes or so. I'm not saying good, but I hope that's right. So we were very poor today. The very 2 things I warned you about, we did. The very poor high lines, we did. Xhaka and Gudezi, I don't think they're playing poorly, but they're being swum upon. They're being eaten alive by all of these Chelsea midfielders who are very good with the ball. To be fair with you, we deserve to be down. We are not taking our chances. Mkhitaryan's missing sitters. I actually think the first 20 minutes, Mkhitaryan was appalling. Ozil, again, is non-existent. I don't even think Xhaka was that poor, to be honest, in the grand scheme of things and the criticism he gets. But again, nobody's saying nothing in it. I think Monreal's doing quite well. We're just not taking our chances. That's a big reason as to why we lost today. Before we shouldn't even waste our breath defensively on Arsenal, but we didn't take our chances. Tappings, Aubameyang is missing tapping after tapping. I mean, you would like to think you were going to move like Henry with number 14, but you're moving like a certain Theodore Walcott. No disrespect to Theo, because I see he had his shooting boots on today against his old club, Southampton. But yeah, it's 20 minutes in, it's 2-0 down, and to be honest, the only reason we kind of got back in the game is because if I'm a Chelsea fan just looking at it, or from a non-biased point of view, looking at it, Chelsea probably self-destructed a bit. You could see the fullbacks were starting to switch off, not follow men. The wingers who were troubling us offensively, were also doing their work defensively. They stopped doing that, and Hull started to open up on the pitch. I can't even. I'm so like, it doesn't even matter who scored or how we scored. All I remember is that. How did we score the first? Mkhitaryan, after missing a tap in, eventually it falls to him in the goal in their opposition's own box. Mkhitaryan lashes it home with his left foot, and you're thinking there's something in this game for us. Shortly after, again, Bellerin does very well. Mkhitaryan gets an assist, and eventually Iwobi, who I think's had a decent game as well, scores, and it's 2-2, and then all you've got to do is think, all right, cool, let's make it into half time. And well, you kind of got Chelsea's backs up against the wall. If I'm a Chelsea fan, I'm going livid, because this Arsenal game should have been shut. Like, it was shut. Arsenal, the possession, I felt we respected Chelsea throughout that whole, especially the first 20 minutes, respected Chelsea way too much, especially with their new keeper and things like that. He's a good keeper, but asks questions. He's under pressure. He's playing at home for the first time. Respected them too much, allowed them to get into it, allowed too much of their midfielders who are great with the ball do their thing, and that's suicide ultimately. We get into half time. This is the sort of things that will make top four, or what I believe not getting in top four. You get into half time, alright boys, we have not played well. We have done our thing for the last 20 minutes, especially the last 10. We're in this game. We do not mess up now. We go back to basics. We defend properly. None of that happened. Second half, woeful second half in my opinion. Mkhitaryan, who's got back in my good books after sleeping for 20 minutes, isn't helping Bellerin. Monreal, who I felt was decent in the first half, slipping into old habits. The centre halves are at 6s and 7s. Midfield is non-existent, even with Torreira coming on for Xhaka. And yeah, you thought it would be a game where you might get something from it, you might get a point, but Chelsea, in me, my personal opinion, Chelsea deserved that third goal. They might not have been at their best in the second half either, but in the grand scheme of things, they deserved their third goal. Obviously, again, Bellerin is too easy. Mkhitaryan's not helping out enough. I believe Mustafi, definitely Torreira. Alonso's allowed to run off of too many shoulders and get the third, and that's what makes the difference. These sort of things, not losing when you deserve to lose. This is a great example of what I mean, people. Not losing when you deserve to lose a football match like we did today is what makes it. Because if this is another team, if this is, I actually think not even that United are great, but if this is United, if this is Liverpool, if this is other people, they're walking away from Stamford Bridge with a point. Like, I did think, I wanted Lacazette to come on. It's poor from Lacazette to lose the ball, of course. I did want Lacazette to come on. You know, I'm a big fan of Lacazette. But I was thinking, Unai, you got to bring on Wells, man. Let's just take this point and ride, man. We make them defensive changes. We shot ourselves in the foot. Like I said, the main things that hurt me is the silly high line. Playing out from the back is working, but you have to have purpose. You saw the difference between Chelsea's playing out the back and ours. They're trying to go forward. We're going forward and back. I felt Czech had a good game today. It could have been 10-2 to them if it wasn't for him. Big questions. Mesut Ozil, I can't defend you with games like this, bro. I really can't. Like, you mashed in your work defensively, but on the ball there was nothing. You're there swearing at Bellerin and carrying on. You've got to do more. I actually think he's still hurting psychologically and things, and in the same way Ramsey got dropped, maybe you need to get dropped as well. But it was appalling. For me, the first 20 minutes, I was actually thinking, and you saw me tweet people, Liechtenstein probably has to come on to make us a bit more better defensively, or we're going to concede a second, and we did. Like, it's just, again, I get us, like, we need to be a bit more pragmatic in regards to opponents, because it weren't there today. It weren't there. We know it's going to take a while. It's only our second game week, but for every 2-3 good positives I see, I'm seeing 10 different same things. It's like, it's the mental issue. It says something when a 19-year-old who was playing in the second division in France, it is looking like your most composed, most experienced, and most vital player, and the guy that's most up for it is telling. It's credit to him and his mentality. But considering some man there have won World Cups, some man there have played X amount of times for their country, won other things with other clubs, it's appalling. It's atrocious. Like, it's genuinely atrocious in my opinion. Like there's just so many. Yeah, there was good little bits of play and things like that. We really and truly, we need to finish off our chances. Mkhitaryan, Aubameyang, all these men are uploading goal-scoring vids in training and doing crazy things, but we're missing tap-ins. If you score some of these tap-ins, the games is a different game. I can sit here and make bare ifs and whats and this and that and the others, and you guys could too, but the fact is we lost. Like, they're the only things that matter. You could, like I heard Unai say at the end of his press conference, he saw positives. You can have all the positives in the world. The facts are, it is 2 games in, no points, 17th or something like that in the league table. No points, 2 big testing away games, especially a Chelsea one for me, because that is away from home. It's not there. Okay, of course you can say West Ham, you'd expect us to probably beat them, but you don't know that, and that's disrespectful to West Ham, to be fair with you, because I believe they wanted, and they put in a decent, no, they didn't play decent against Liverpool, I'm lying, but it is what it is. I actually think Bellerin did alright today. For me, I have to question Une's tactics in this game in particular because you know the wingers. You say you watch all these vids and all these mad things, but you know the wingers and the fullbacks, they're going to catch ours 2v1. So let's be a bit more pragmatic. The striking, I get that you try to have players that will love the ball, and Mkhitaryan and Iwobi definitely played alright, and Ozil and all these guys that will make it compact and want to have the ball and do things like that because of Chelsea's midfield. I get it, but the flanks cost us, and I get when you have people like that and you can consider that Aubameyang's strengths might not be general play and you just have to bank on a ball over the top. You need to do that a bit more. Aubameyang, we need to stick with him. He's still a bad boy striker in this thing. Let's not get it twisted. He's going through some bad form. He looked like he was thinking about opportunities too much, but he has to do better. True, he put in a lovely ball in the second half and things like that, but the chances, man, it's food and drink. It's food and it's why you were here. It's what you were doing last year. The facts are we lost. Like, we lost. If I'm a Chelsea fan, I'm happy that they won 3-2. Put myself in Chelsea fans' shoes. Happy that they won 3-2. But probably defensively, they had some holes that they would poke at and things like that. And if that's against City and them teams there, they get something against Chelsea. Like Arsenal, it was a poor game. The high line, the getting too many creative midfielders in the side. Credit for dropping Ramsey, but there's too many. You need to be a bit more defensive minded for me. Mkhitaryan got a goal and assist at the end of the day, and that masked his performance. But for me, it was appalling. He stopped doing the defensive work. At times, he was being too compact. Definitely in the first 20 minutes, just losing the ball. Xhaka, less said on Xhaka the better. Guendouzi, shout out to you. Torreira, you looked alright when you came on, but I can see why you might not be starting. You do look a bit like you need to adjust a little tiny bit. Monreal, I think you did very well for the, who was it? I think it was for Iwobi's goal. He did very well to actually nip in and win that. So they're the only positives you can find that. I mean, I think Mustafi and Sokratis were okay, but at times scrappy defending. Czech probably the best player on the pitch with Guendouzi again, but from an Arsenal's perspective, if I'm Chelsea, I'd probably give it Jorginho. Probably not Barkley, but I felt Barkley had a good game, to be fair. Hazard looked sharp when he come on. Please go to Real Madrid. Arsenal, I'm tired of seeing you do this madness to Arsenal, but there's nothing more to say, man. Guys, Chelsea 3, Arsenal 2, deluded. I'm out.